Hi guys, it's David Goodman and Pete Blankenship. We are with the Grow team in Nashville, Tennessee. We are your go-to agents for short-term rentals, house hacking, investing, marketing your home for sale. We are your team. But today I wanted to pick Pete's brain on a specific topic. Pete, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. So I wanted to ask you and see if we could talk to it's September in 2024. For those who are investing in Nashville, which there's ton, who are the people that should be taking advantage of our market? When does it make the most sense to invest? What have we seen from our clients? Because I think we have a gambit. We have folks that are investing for as an investment, and we have people where it kind of makes sense for other reasons as well. And that's what I wanted to touch on in this video in a short period of time. But who are like the ideal people that are realistically Nashville is a good place to invest?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first people that come to mind, just given, many of the personas of buyers is parents of students at university in Nashville. That could be Lipscomb, Belmont, Vanderbilt, Fisk, Meharry, Tennessee State University. I mean, there's several, I think, even that I'm missing. And if you've been in Nashville, it's pretty small geographically. So that's a substantial amount of higher education universities in a small area. So firstly, I think of, parents that want to visit with their child or have we've had places, people that want their child to have a place with amenities and stuff that they can come and hang out with them at when they're in town. Not, you want to come see me at the hotel, or can I come hang out with your friends at your dorm and stuff? It's not really realistic. So a lot of these units that are, off Music Row or near the Gulch or, Indiana Avenue in the Nation.
Right off of Belmont Boulevard, which there's a development coming up right now off market.
Yeah, exactly, David. And I mean, there are units, even East Nashville's 10 minutes away from Belmont. So it's not like we're far away. But the point is, I think that's a potential buyer, someone that can use this unit when they're visiting their family, use it as a central hub. We have people from all over the country, their other children or their other relatives or their brother or sister live all over the country. Nashville's centrally located, and it's a great area for people to come visit with each other, and gain that potentially higher than average city appreciation because of the amount of growth, no income taxes in Tennessee, tons of growth and opportunity. So first buyer, really kind of the college parents who are sending children to any of the universities. I think it's a great fit for cash flow or just to offset some of the costs. They could always live in it as well. Two is really our 1031 kind of investors, I think, that are willing to get a large sum out, park, 30+% down on some of these units. There's massive tax benefits still via cost segregation study, et cetera. But it also, I mean, again, high appreciation market. I think if you can park money here for the long term, we got the 50 basis point reduction today. So the odds of the next 3 years of increased appreciation from my average 4% underwriting is, going to be up there, I think, and really be a factor in your long-term hold. Thirdly, I mean, I'll say, if you're looking for cash flow period with low amount down, like a seller financing or low to no money down in cash flow, this isn't the Midwest. So, I mean, we have crazy appreciation here, development, new growth, new construction. So, I mean, the odds that you're going to get a good cash flowing property for less than 30% down on most of our purchases that's just not going to happen. We can find you great deals sometimes off market, but we have to bring you in early, figure out some things, figure out where their head's at, what their situation looks like so that we can bring you in early, try to save you some cost on the equity via agents, et cetera. But if you're seeing it on market and you're putting 20% down, if you're not self-managing, the odds are you're not going to be cash flowing like you would like. So just transparency as a public disclaimer.
You touched on this one really quickly. Folks that maybe have a connection to Nashville or just like Nashville to hang out and do stuff, and maybe they run a business like one of our clients, and they have aspirations for in the future moving to Tennessee and selling their business and benefiting from our friendlier tax situation here versus say if they live in California and they sell a business. So that was another one. You touched on, at least 30% down, and I would even say 50% down. So like when a client comes to us and they say, hey, I've got $100,000 or $150,000 that I want to put into a deal, I want to pay 20%. I try to, instead of looking at $700,000 and $800,000 properties, I also want us to be looking at like one bedrooms and studios so that we can confidently get you into something that isn't going to be a $700,000 mortgage is expensive. If this is your first investment, this is your first Airbnb even, I would rather steer you towards being a little bit more conservative. Use this first property as a way of learning the business and put more down into the property and feel more confident about how you run an Airbnb business in Nashville. And you're not going to be in a position where you won't be able to fit the bill in February if it's slow, and you'll have some cash flow just because you put closer to 40% down on a property versus using that same amount in buying something where you're only right at 20% and you're basically just breaking even if you operate average, and if that's your first investment, that's sometimes what I would suggest. And that's what I've done in my own investments. I love this market, but I'm just a little bit more cautious. I want to be putting in at least 30% or more. And I'm still using the power of leverage in that case. Even if I put 50% down, I'm taking on a $400,000 property, I'm taking $200,000 and turning it into $400,000, and I'm getting cash flow. And I think the days of just saying like put 20% down, expect it to be a great deal, that's not really been the reality here in Nashville like ever since I've been here. Now, like you said, if you want to look at the Midwest or other areas that have been fairly flat over the last forever price-wise, then that might be more of the market for you.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a great point because, there's all these gurus, they're going to say, why put 100,000 down on a house when you can buy 4 houses and put 25,000 down each one and then cash flow over time? There's a certain emotional intelligence and honestly insanity that you need to have developed to feel that risk tolerance is something you can do in your own life without developing it, because you'll choke on it, so to speak. You're taking too big of a bite.
I see that all the time too. It's like,
yeah.
And it makes sense. But when's
the last time you saw? If you're just a math guy, yeah, that makes sense. But if you can't, for me, if I'm making $8,000 or so a month and my mortgage is $5,000 a month, total across all properties, then I'm like, okay, that's cool. But the realistic expectation is you're making $1,000 across 5 properties, maybe more in cash flow doing it that way. A lot of little ones, $200 in cash flow per unit. Wouldn't you rather take that one great unit, have more cash flow? If rates go great, you could pull money out. If they're going
once
great,
you're up and operating, once you're operating, seeing how it operates. If it's your first one, and if there's $100,000 property out there in like anywhere near here, go for it. That's fine. Like you're gonna do great. The reality is here, it's not really that situation. We're not really talking in 100,000s. We're talking in 500,000 increments, unfortunately. So,
and I don't want to get off topic too much, but we get people all the time too, are there seller financing opportunities? Are there assumable debt opportunities? These are possible, obviously, just like in any real estate transaction, but these aren't flips. These aren't wholesale deals. These aren't residentials. So the odds are, if someone bought this in 2015 and they're selling it now, on average, they're not going to be selling it with like an assumable loan. It's just too hot of a product for that price point. They're going to be doing it in a pretty normal way most of the time, off market, pretty quick.
And if it is assumable, there's just a huge down payment in order for you to assume that loan because there's been so much appreciation that's happened. But anyway, we digress. I appreciate that. I think you narrowed it down right to who this makes sense for. And if you're interested in this market, if you've got a kid going to Belmont or you're a doctor and you're looking at different ways to deal with your tax situation or your tax burden, we'd love to help. We work with straight investors to people where it kind of makes sense because they have a love for Nashville or connection to Nashville, but they also don't want to just have a second home. They want to have something that can make some money and pay for itself. So we work with all ranges. We're happy to help, and we've got opportunities on and off market that we're connected to. So again, thank you so much for watching. Pete, thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.